Long time no see, CCG faithful. We're back in action here on the Twitch channel here with some ACL action. I know a lot of North American Challenge League Open qualifiers have gone on all through the weekend, but it's a new fresh week, and it's a new week in the ACL for the CCG squad. I'm joined here by Keepsake. Keepsake, it's glad to have you back here, buddy. A pretty big match here if we're talking the overall conference standings in the ACL for this CCG roster.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially if CCG does want to lock one of those top spots for playoffs, a really good seating inside their tier 1 for being pulled for pool 1. This is a pretty important win, and this is another cross-divisional or cross-regional, rather, whatever you want to say, game. I seem to only be brought in on the ones where we're playing against the Demacia Cup, but still glad to be here and really excited to see what they bring us here today. So.
Well, you heard Keepsake allude to it. It is a Noxus versus Demacia battle again here in the ACL. It's the Demacian Chaotic Solar roster here as we can take a look here across the board at both of these rosters set up for today's action. Both these squads featuring a ton of Challengers League qualifier teams. Chaotic Solar, in fact, was this entire roster. You can see here Mace's Wenwin, like Maz, Young Joe, and Big Time Boyo all played on the number 20 seeded Chaotic Solar squad. They unfortunately missed it, but of course the CCG squad is littered with qualifier people moving on in the qualifiers as well. Topo and Kitsuo were a part of that Komodo roster that moved in at 3 and 2. Rock Boom was also a staple of the Euphoria roster that moved on, and of course, if you've been sticking around with CCG, you know Detro and the CCG NACL Open Qualifier squad moved on with a 4-1 record yesterday on Sunday. So safe to say, Keepsake, some pretty big talent on either sides for this matchup.
Absolutely. So a guilty pleasure of mine, if I can. I always love when looking at the lobbies of these games to see just how high level everyone is in comparison to me, like how much time I poured in the league, and I'm like level 300 and something, and to see people who are like 1,800, 900, these guys are the real deal. So we are, as you said, going to witness some really good League of Legends today, and I'm really excited to see what the meta read is on these champions, on this game.
Yeah, Keepsake, you talk about the meta read and the champions that are certainly favorites of some of those players. The people that have been following around CCG for a while will know one that sticks out very well out the gate. Kitsuo and his Poppy is something, or excuse me, Topo and his Poppy is something you're gonna want to worry about if you are this Solar roster. But I know you've been doing some digging. There's definitely some one-trick potential on the other side of this matchup as well.
Yeah, no, my job as color is to basically just always know everything, which sucks, but omniscience is a virtue. So no, but I looked into it. They have a lot of games on this jungler. This jungler has tenfold the amount of games on his one trick than he does his next most played champion. He has 500 plus games in ranked on that Udyr. 54% win rate, so you know it's consistent, you know it's good. Something I also noticed, their support likes to play a lot of Maokai, which is not a very common support pick, but since that can be flexed in the jungle and potentially even top, but I don't like it when it's flex top. When I see it flex top, I don't see it do well. But it can be flex support in jungle, and there are some games where the jungler has played the Maokai. So if the ban goes over to this Udyr, then a Maokai pick is pretty good, because you're going to end up getting this really nice flex pick. Now, their top laner also is a one trick. However, it looks like there will be a sub for J-Bear Lol instead of Mace's. So we will see what he has to bring to the table. And their mid laner as well, actually. Like a Maw is being subbed out for C9 Crow. So we'll have to see.
Very intriguing. I can't confirm that both of those players are listed as subs on the roster here, so it's important to mention that no real ban penalties going on in the draft. And hey, speaking of the draft, we're live. Game number 1 draft already. We're getting set here. CCG on that blue side, CSO. You've got Chaotic Solar on the red side getting underway. And would you look at that? Keepsake, your research pays off. First ban out the way. Udyr taken away from Chaotic Solar.
Udyr, I would never let him get Udyr. I personally, now that you don't have to ban the one trick, I think I was talking Darius. I believe it was the one trick Darius.
No, I thought it was Cassante.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was Cassante. Sorry. I can do the research, but that doesn't mean I'll remember it. No, getting that. But the thing is, they subbed in the new player, so he's not a K'Sante one trick. So I think they didn't adjust to that. I feel like that might be a wasted ban potentially on that. Yeah, this player doesn't play very. This player has 593 games on Darius. So this guy actually is a Darius one trick, and he's never played a game of K'Sante in ranked in his life. So K'Sante ban might be like they just thought about too much before. They do end up banning the Maokai. I think that's a crazy B1. The Rel. The Rel is crazy right now in all the leagues available. She is a great flex pick, just like the Maokai, but she can be put jungle and support, and I think she's pretty good in both. Obviously, like, she's better support. But I think it's a really nice flex pick, and that's what you want in your B1. Nothing too revealing, but just a good meta pick.
Yeah, Rel makes a ton of sense for this CCG roster because, funnily enough, Kitsuo loves the Rel jungle, has been playing it for a while, but Detro just showed out in 2 huge games of the Open Qualifiers, 2 wins for that NACL roster on the Rel. Had an absolutely fantastic. He actually forced a team to surrender basically with one of his engages at the end of a game on that Rel. So I love that B1 pick as well. But Chaotic Solar answered with 2 pretty high level meta picks. So Tristana, when you're talking about flexibility, is certainly there, mid or AD carry, and the Gragas as well, pretty big staple of the meta as well towards the top side.
Gragas is pretty important. Well, one, he can also be mid or jungle or top. I don't think the Gragas nerfs are substantial at all. I don't know why he's stopped being played. I think he's still great. Maybe it's like the surrounding meta around him that ADCs are becoming better, that he's becoming worse, because anyway. But no, having Gragas being a flex pick into the Rel is great because he's anti-engage, and that's what they clearly want to do. The Kai'Sa, though, huge meta pick. Slamming Kai'Sa Ornn, you have tankiness, you have peeling. This Kai'Sa is, my opinion, to be the strongest pick in the game right now. It's not the most versatile, but it is the strongest. It's the most OP. And we see the Darius. This is the Darius one trick that we see. Now, Poppy has not been... Oh. Well, about
First ban. First ban out the gate.
Has not been banned for like 3 minutes. So, no. I don't know. This Tristana, we'll have to see, because this Gragas is the second most played jungler by this one trick. Even though he does play a lot of Udyr, 95 games in rank, is still, he's experienced on this pick, so I assume it will probably go to him. This Darius definitely going top. I'm not seeing that in the support or or mid. So Gragas is probably jungle, and we will probably see Tristana mid or AD carry. A Braum ban is pretty good. I think you're pretty, like, especially if you go Hail of Blades, it can be really unfortunate. Sorry, I'm league brain. It's pretty unfortunate if you pick Rel, Kai'Sa, and then you get like Hail of Blades, Tristana with a Braum. You're probably gonna lose that lane, so that's pretty bad. The ban on Jarvan doesn't make too much sense to me because you like to be engaged on here with your knockbacks, with your Gragas, with your Tristana. Darius likes to be engaged on. You also have Tristana who can jump out of the Cataclysm, so I don't really like the Jarvan ban here. But that's just me. And obviously, Renata has like the same effect of Braum. It's like you don't want them to get anti-engage because you're engaging and they're anti-engaging is what I see right now.
It seems like Chaotic Solar also set a pretty good trap here with that Gragas because you push CCG in, you have Topo lock in that Ornn, which is the safety pick, the scaling pick, the team fighting pick, but it sets up that Darius for J-Bear. So that lane is going to be pretty nightmarish to watch if you are top. It will be a difficult lane regardless. I like what you said about the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa just so strong on that hybrid build with how much the meta has changed for AD carries with their AP scaling. Makes Kai'Sa super, super strong. When you're talking about disengages, keepsake, I mean, there are a few AD carries that you play as well with that style than Xayah and that Featherstorm.
We will see what the counterpick mid is here. They are hovering the Syndra, obviously being Tristana mid. Xayah is not going mid here. It will be locked in.
Like that.
I don't like it that much. I think it's strong, but if someone's going to prove me wrong, it's going to be Radar. Now we're just waiting for the jungle pick here. We might get a carry jungle. Kitsuo has been liking his carry junglers. Picking through them, locks in the Lee Sin. So there will probably be a lot of mid-prio this game into this Tristana, trying to make her feel really vulnerable. We'll see how C9 Crow has to react to that.
I'm I'm a big fan of this Lee Sin pick. Keepsake for one reason. Kitsuo has 1.4 million mastery points for anybody watching on Lee Sin, so has played way too much Lee Sin, arguably at this point.
Touch
and also,
grass.
yeah, the old jokes, right? CCG also, their comp is completely formulated around late game scaling and team fighting. That's what happens when you pick a Kaisa. She just scales up so well. Syndra with her splinters scales up really well. I especially love the execute damage she can get on her unleashed power later in the game. But you need somebody to catalyst the early game and the mid game, create opportunities for these lanes. And there are a few better champions in my mind that could do that, and especially in the hands of Kitsuo, than this Lee Sin. So it's an extra little catalyst. Sure, the Lee Sin will fall off damage-wise once you get later into the game with these fights. He's not going to be carrying the fights in the damage department, but you can create with those kicks, create a lot of distance. But if you look on the other side, Chaotic Solar, they paired up the lovers in the bottom lane, Rakan and Xayah. They're both really good at being shifty. I know you're a big fan of the Rakan here. In general, I'm sure you're a big fan of it in this comp.
He's my
as
one
well.
trick, so
There you go.
He plays it better than me. Don't get me wrong. He's just a way better player. He could never play Rakan in his life, and he'd probably have a better Rakan than me. But no. So the thing about Xayah into Kaisa, Xayah is good here because, like, obviously there's like so much engage. The issue is with Xayah, right? She's good into obviously she was picked for Syndra. She's not good into Syndra. The range is terrible, but she's good in everything else. She's good into Ornn. She likes being engaged upon. The issue with Xayah into Kaisa, which we might see, when it was Xayah Kaisa meta back in like season 9, I think it was about season 9. It might have been season 8. I think it was season 9. Xayah Kaisa meta. Kaisa would always beat Xayah because Kaisa can ult behind Xayah and just evade the feathers. She can just ult to the side. That does, like, there's more skill expression on the Kaisa side of that matchup specifically, so we will have to see how she wants to play that out. Or he, but I never know to reference the champion or the player, but you know.
It's confusing, right?
It is. Typically, I do see engage comps just work better because sometimes it can feel like when you're playing a disengage comp, if you don't get ahead, you always have to like set up at things first. Or like, because you can't engage as a disengage comp. That's not going to work. Your champion just can't do it. Obviously, you're like, oh, well, we have Rakan and Darius. We can just run. No, it's not going to work. I mean, you can try, but they have Scatter the Weak on Syndra, and it's just not going to work. In my opinion, at least. But so they need to be setting up at things first, which can get really problematic if you're not ahead. Now, you should have the tools to get ahead on the top side. However, when it comes to this mid lane and to the spot lane, Xayah Rakan are not the laners that everyone thinks they are. Xayah Rakan are good laners. Rel Kaisa should win lane. It should win lane.
Okay.
It should win lane.
Rel's pretty strong in lane.
Rel's really strong in lane. Kaisa should be stronger than Xayah. If there's not like massive feather diff going on, like assuming like Ditro doesn't like do the thing where like he Qs and then he waits for like Xayah to get like 4 feathers on and then he W's in and then just dies.
Right.
It should be I think favored for the bot side of CCG in the early game. So I'm expecting the Gragas to hang around top a lot. Just like make sure like if this if Topo decides to play this game where he's like, oh, I'm just gonna sit under turret and like try to survive, like, you know, under like withstand the Brood of the Storm. There's gonna be constant dives probably going on. There's going to be Prio and the Herald, and it's a lot easier to probably bully this Ornn with the Darius Gragas combo than I would say it's to bully Tristana with this combo being Syndra and Lee Sin. Even though Syndra and Lee Sin sounds stronger, Tristana has a lot of wave pushing power. She has that mobility that simply Ornn does not, and that ult is also fairly good at disengage itself. So we'll have to see where there are leads, but I think if CCG prioritizes Dragon while Syndra does her best to kind of help Ornn not go 0-12, then it should be CCG favored, obviously because of the scaling, the ornaments going on. I mean, when you get an ornament, like you're like, Syndra doesn't scale that hard. Kaisa is not the hardest scaling ADC, even though she's OP right now. But when you get the ornament, you get the Ornn upgrade. It kind of circumvents that. It's kind of like a scaling buff. Makes you scale harder, makes you scale better. So, suffice to say, long-winded, but I like the CCG comp here. I'm always more of a fan of Engage. This is a meatball comp. I've seen them have a lot of success with. Kitsuo's on his signature, and I mean the meta picks here are pretty good. This Kai'Sa Rel bot lane is extremely meta, and I think even though they're playing Engage and Disengage, I think they should have the tools to clean out this game if that Darius does not just take over the game.
Yeah, I'm with you there on that keepsake, because I think playing engage is a lot easier always to play with, and especially because even if you get behind on engage, you have the tools to create for yourself and get back into a game versus the other comps. So I am a big fan of CCG's comp, purely also just because I feel like I'm one of the biggest Detro fans in the world, and his Rel was absolutely unstoppable this weekend. Kitsuo Lee Sin, like you mentioned, is also a big ticket item as well. But so we're getting through the spec delay here, and I do want to take a moment because we didn't get to talk too much about it. The stakes of this game in the Runeterra conference is actually pretty high powered. Chaotic Solar is the 3rd seed right now. TCG Esports is 4th. And with just 4-1 Chaotic Solar, 3-2 CCG Esports. So if CCG win this game, no matter in whatever fashion, they'll get the game difference buff and move up to that 3rd spot and slate themselves up pretty well to just clinch the round of 32. But keepsake, if they lose this one, and especially if they get swept, Primal Instinct Black is in that 5th spot below them. They would have the better game difference with a sweep against CCG, and they would leapfrog into the round of 32 and force CCG into the wild card spot at the 5th. So this game, no matter what way you want to dice it up for more than just these two teams, is super important as we race down to the playoffs.
No, absolutely. And I think for the viewers, little nitpick there, he meant round of 12, not round of 32. All good.
Right. I did it again.
No,
right.
no, it's all good. It's all. I'm just making sure for everyone watching. There are not 32 teams in this league. There are 20.
He's here to catch me. He's here to catch me. When I
no. I'm just backup caster. That's what color is, right?
No.
No, but no. I'm super excited to see all the connotations that this game has to have and all the things that are going to happen from it. So we'll see.
We certainly will see, and it all starts off with the first game. So without further ado, we'll go to a short intermission. On the other side, though, Chaotic Solar and CCG take the Summoner's Rift for this best-of-3 series. We are rumbling down to playoff time in the Aegis Champions League. 2 weeks out means cross-group play is here, and boy, do we have one big-time cross-group matchup. Chaotic Solar on that red side, your CCG roster, fresh off a weekend of OQs, looking to move themselves up in the Runeterra standings. Safe to say, it's no better way to start off a tempo of a best-of-3 series keepsake than coming out the gate swinging.
Absolutely. I could not say it better myself. I love the engage comp they've gone for here. I actually noticed sometimes the Rel will run Aftershock. Usually she has Glacial Augment. What's not as common is Rakan Glacial Augment. It's not rare, but a lot of times they will go into the Guardian. So it's interesting to see that rune choice picked up. We will see the Ghost on the Xayah. So this is going to be really emphasizing kiting. They want to be running backwards with this disengage and kiting backwards. So yeah, we'll just have to see to what avail they can do that.
It's really intriguing to think about the Glacial Augment. I don't know how I necessarily feel about it from Big Time Boyo, because usually run that Guardian because you know you're going to be taking a lot of the brunt damage in those 2v2s because you're jumping forward, because you're more susceptible to get hooked or locked down. So it's going to be really intriguing if some of these engages cost Big Time Boyo his life because he's not as tanky.
Detro.
Early on, they feel a lot more comfortable. Yeah, Detro, there's the Fairmancy forward, does get that stun. There's the trade of those Glacial Augments as Boyo goes back forward, but nobody really looking to go too crazy just yet in this lane.
Young Jay actually losing a significant amount of health now. The Xayah Rakan lane should have more sustain with the Rakan Qs, but she did have to use a pot, so that is a resource expended already from the side of the Chaotix, I guess, is what I'll say. Another rune choice I didn't notice until now. The Phase Rush on the Ornn, not too uncommon, but for these really losing matchups, Ornn will not take...
Ooh, Detro gets a double Fairmancy. Boyle immediately has to flash. Ghost pop by Young Jays. Rockwoom is forward. A couple more autos would nearly find the kill, but there's the Detro diff already showing out early in this one.
Yeah, you could see if Rockwoom actually connected with that W, that surely would have been a kill onto Young Jay. So really close with that W there. We will see the push. Kitsuo will mark. Good from Win-Win to actually cover this because
Ooh.
might be a 1v1 here though.
Yeah, he does not win this skirmish. He does get him over the wall, though, into the middle of 3. Kitsuo has to
Ignite.
flash away now, able to dash back over. Ditro flashes over to get the stun onto Boyo, maybe trying to protect Kitsuo a little too heavily. There's another resonating strike canceled by the body slam, and Kitsuo is slain. Outplay from WeWin, and Ditro might also pay the price. The knockup lands. Another kill going to go over to the Xayah, as Young Jay is in a prime position in this one.
Ooh, wow. So yeah, there's a lot of blood in the water here already from the side of CCG. They are just looking for all the plays in all the wrong places at that moment. Really going too far. The flash over the wall, committing pretty hard into the trade, which they probably already won. They got the ignite, which, you know, but now they're going to miss some wave. Obviously, they gave over 2 kills to the Xayah, including a first blood. The Xayah, which should have been down considering how much she lost that early trade, will be massively up now and has a later back. You will see the Xayah's coming back to lane, or sorry, the Kai'Sa with only Cole, and the Xayah, on the other hand, finished her Noon Quiver from her longsword and got herself a dagger. So she is big chilling, as I believe they call it professionally.
Yeah, that is the professional term. I'm glad that you brought that out,
Yeah.
to make sure. But yeah, I mean, Kitsuo, I mean, for how much we give him credit for his Lee Sin play, those are 2 straight resonating strikes where he was canceled out by that body slam. So, and you talked about it, Keepsake, how good the Gragas plays into what Dietra wants to do as that disengaged champ, and we're seeing it already early before ultimates even come around.
Yeah, Rockboom had no way of connecting to his jungle and support when they went over the wall, so it did look like a little bit of miscommunication there. I will say, I am pretty impressed that Ornn, Topo on this Ornn, has been able to keep up in CS. XP has not been pushed off this wave. Is keeping up, like, just at all with Darius, because this seems like a miserable matchup to me. Now,
Yeah.
Topo does have a lot of games on Ornn, but this is a 1.2 million mastery Darius. So I thought Darius would have been winning lane harder. Massive props to Topo from just surviving and doing equal, if not better. The Dragon will be started up here, though.
Does have that TP advantage versus the Ghost, so partially why he was able to stay in lane. But yep, you mentioned it. The Dragon can be started up here. That bot prio and mid prio doing wonders for Chaotic Solar right now, and there's just going to be absolutely no contest out the gate. So the disengaged comp we had some doubts about if they fell behind in this one is now pretty firmly in the lead through the first 5 minutes.
So I made a prediction that or not really a prediction, but I said, like, if they're going to fall behind, it's going to be in top. Topo making a liar of me. They're not falling behind in top at all. They're falling behind in bot, which is the lane I was like, Zyrakon's not that strong. Which, to be fair, I don't know if it was because Zyrakon was strong or because they chased too far, which is probably the reason why. But it is odd how it changed up. We do see a call on the top and bottom side of gank, though.
Ooh. Ghost immediately popped here from J-Bear. Does have ultimate available. Teleport coming out in the background. Do double pull back. Flashes away from Call the Forge God. The turn, though, is good enough. Kitsuo connects with just enough damage before any Noxie and Guillotine can come through. And a big kill found in the top side while also getting Crow's teleport out in relief.
This is massive for the side of CCG. Obviously, getting the TP Ghost and Flash out for just a flash is amazing. Getting a kill out of it. Now your Ornn is up into a matchup he should not be up into. He's going to be up XP. He's going to be up CS. He's going to go back to base. And he's basically, unless he gets focused on really hard in the next few minutes topside, going to just be able to chill, get XP, and help his carries scale. If you look at the gold, it's basically dead even. There's 200 gold between these teams. That equates to zilch, nada. That equates to maybe like a ruby, like not even. So half of a ruby crystal. So this is a very even game. It just, the allocation of gold is different, as you see most of it on the side. There will be a gank bot side, though.
Yeah, Kitsuo just hovering to back up his bottom lane as they try and shove a wave in. Rockboom actually not as much down as much gold as I figured he would be against Young Jae. Only about 500 right now, and partially because he's been able to keep up a pretty
Gragas.
solid CS lead. Is Wen, yep, just hovering around mid lane as well. So that also
For the
plays
invade.
into how they've been able to keep the gold decently close. Is always the sneaky stat that so many people forget to look at is how big those CS numbers actually can be in these stages.
Yeah, there's an invade here. It looks like with the push that Darius has, he's supporting Gragas on this invade. Rakan moving up as well. Rel will be moving up actually from base though. Radar alone here might get engaged upon.
Yep.
Be a little scary. Topo checking it out though. Gragas might have gone too far. Unless...
Topo and Radar gonna step up here. Yep, but there's the flank though. Hello, Radar immediately has to flash. Explosive class into the wall. They're just jumping on and dogpiling Radar. They'll find that kill. The reset for Crow means he'll pick up another kill onto Kitsuo when able to get out. But here's all of CCG here. Big heal comes across for J-Bear on the swing of that axe from Darius, and they're gonna be able to nearly get out the speed up from Rock Boom. Another heal, but a good stun from Decho.
Topo
will lock it down for Rock Boom. Topo now on the other side, trying to slow the retreat with Call of the Forge God. Has Crow cut off, but he does use that leap to create some more distance. Bot lane a little too far away, but Topo still going forward. He procs the phase rush. Rock Boom flashing over the wall. Detro Hex flash as well. Crow has to flash to get away, but they might just go for this turret dive. Wen does hit a good body slam to assuage them. A lot more summoners burned, but no extra kills found for CCG.
They will come up with the HP advantage, and since Kitsuo died fairly early, they will get, I believe, the first move on this Herald. I don't know if Gragas will contest. He looks like he's just going to go towards those Raptors. Now, issue is, if we look at gold, Xayah collected, because she was not there, so many plates, and by so many I mean two, but that's a lot, that she will be fairly up. However, I do believe Kai'Sa... Did Kai'Sa pick up a kill here? I believe, yeah. She picked up a kill on Darius. I believe it was, in the end, 1 for 2. So it technically wasn't good, but they do get the Herald. They came out with more HP. Syndra having TP'd bot stopped Kai'Sa, Xayah from getting even more plates. So a little bit of damage control. Did take the TP, though. And Darius will look to collect some plates because of the back timers.
Wen, though, doing just such a good job early in this game, able to play defensively in that first engage we saw, and a really good flank from that invade, like you mentioned, Keepsake, set him up to just lock down Radar. He had nothing he could do, even blowing flash. Just a Syndra cut off like that has no outs at all, and they're able to pick up a big kill there. Is we do get a look at Radar here. I want to check on the Splinter count is at 47, so does have those added spheres, can now throw out 2, but not trucking along as well as one would like to on Syndra. Certainly would like to be closer to that second upgrade at 60. So certainly will be something to watch as Radar scales up here. But we do have an engage on the top side. Great ward hop into the kick. Double knockup. Oh, it is canceled out by J-Bear. He's able to escape. Another resonating strike, and the ghost is popped. So good job to cancel out another knockup and keep himself safe. But this top lane has gone exactly the opposite of how we expected.
So it does look like Darius actually has managed Kitsuo. Will get himself out. No, it does look like there actually is a CS lead now being gained by this Darius, but that's supposed to happen. Honestly, if you're about 10 CS down as Ornn, it's not too bad. However, the Prio does get them Dragon, although it's probably good for CCG not to fight this anyway because Xayah, look at Xayah's summoners. No one on CCG really has summoners. Ignite on Rel doesn't count. That's not a summoner, let's be honest. Flash Ghost, that's a summoner. You don't want to fight. There will be a dive here, though, top.
Call the Forge God. There's Redding Strike. The flash away isn't enough for the heal, and Kitsuo gets a tank bust by Topo there. So, man, the camp is reversed from what we potentially saw from Giraffe as another big kill goes over to Kitsuo.
The Herald? We have to spawn the Herald top here, yes? We're denying CS, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. Gonna give as much over to this top side as possible. If, obviously, like, all the CS is just gonna die unless, you know, I think maybe Gragas will come, like, get some experience. Actually, since there's cannon, actually, he might get a bit of that wave. There will be a gank. I don't know what I'm saying. There's a fight here mid, though. Just some trades. Let's see the first gold difference, if we can see the gold onto the mid laner. Since that kill, it doesn't look like First Strike has done much at all in terms of gold because of the kill difference. Rakan going in.
Ooh, gets caught under turret there, but the Magnet Storm is just a couple short. Big root coming across there, and they just
Wow.
blow up Detro. Young Jay just so strong on this Zaya, and there's nothing Rockman can do. Hits the W, dodges big time Boyo, and picks up the kill. Big outplay with Killer Instinct. There's the Feather Storm back from Young Jay to get the trade, but it's a double kill, all thanks to Rockboom. What an outplay.
Absolutely not worth at all from Zaya, from Young Jay. Uses his Ghost Flash, his ult, just to trade 2 people for 1 when they could have backed off, giving a double kill if they didn't have to, and it was a shutdown. Absolute disaster, in my opinion, from the side here of Chaotic, Chaotic Solar. We will get a TP mid lane from Tristana as Kitsuo does claim the scuttle. There is no dragon up for a little bit, so they should be okay. But the Dragon Prior that I said might be there for the side of CCG is not. They have 0 dragons. So this next dragon's pretty important to contest, although it is Cloud Soul. Maybe you just say it's not important, we can just give, but I don't think that's a good philosophy regardless.
Yeah, Cloud Soul, you know, may not be the bell cow of the race, but it's still going to be advantageous, especially to champions like Wenwen on the Scragus, who's going to be looking for entries. You don't want to mess with Boyo if he has those slow. Speaking of Boyo, might have been caught out here. Good. Hop over the wall, though, means he'll just take a bit of harass damage, but you can see how low his health bar is. That's because Rockboom is very much more online by this point. The static completed with a pickaxe means this Kaisa really starting to hurt early. And we're back to 3-on-3. Good ward hop from Kitsuo to dodge out on Boyo's knockup, is both these junglers really prioritizing the bottom half of the map right now.
Yeah, no reason for the Lee Sin to go top. I mean, it should just be a lane where Ornn can exist and get levels and help his team scale. So I'd like to see more pry on this bot side, especially until Herald comes up, because there's really no reason, or Baron. I believe it's Baron up next, which is weird, but whatever. Yeah, we will see control for mid vision. There will not be a fight that breaks out, but it looks like CCG will conquer the mid vision, the jungle vision in the bottom half of the river.
Yep, just setting up for these later plays. So the Drake about a minute and change out. Maybe we won't play around that. Mid lane looks to be played. This time is Crow with the Buster Shot. Nearly finds a kill. Hops forward back towards his turn and finds that. And the Resonating Strike just misses to the left from Kitsuo, which allows Crow to get out with the 1v2 outplay. Bot side, though, big engage from Rockboom, able to flash away from the feathers. Yongjae so low, should be shut down, but is traded out by Boyo as both the supports just have a wet noodle fight with their ADCs traded.
I have to say, that's worth for CCG, right? Because the CS is missed, Rakan gets the shutdown instead of Zaya, and the inverse where obviously Kaisa gets the kill. That's probably worth for the side. And here's the Herald. I don't know why it was showing that Baron, but whatever. Looks like there'll be pry on this Herald.
Big flash trying to chase Crow. The Resonating Strike, though, hits the big fat man. Wenwen right there to body block for Crow as Kitsuo continuously trying to hunt down this Tristana. Now gets explosive cast back towards turret, and there's 3 members of Chaotic Solar there, but Kitsuo finds a way to take Crow with him. How does he come up with that kill?
Yeah, I was actually ready to call him a griefer after I saw him miss the kick into, you know, Resonating Strike, and then also, you know, flashing in after. Although I will say, the Gragas being there, extraordinary positioning. We will see an engage here.
Detro gets the stun on a Young Jay. Topo in the front lines, now cut off from the rest of the squad. Big Feather pull back, and Topo has to flash out over the wall. Big Darius pull back to get Detro locked down as Rockboom surrounded. Huge play to get a double kill over the flank from Radar. Doesn't find a kill on a Young Jay. The unleashed power leaves Wenwen so low, but still alive and kicking as CCG failed to pick up any sort of trades on that one.
This Gragas is playing around vision better than I've seen most legitimate pro players in like major leagues do. He is on the side in the blue side river, or sorry, blue side jungle, in which he can get into a position where they can't see him. He has a flank that's amazing. Gets his flank. They will lose the dragon, but they won the fight. It was a, I believe, 2-for-0, and they got a ton of summoners and ults out for it. because Syndra was not there fast enough to support her team. It was a 3v4, which they didn't know when they engaged because the Gragas, again, had been playing around Vision so well. We will look towards this Herald, though, as Syndra and Tristana will just occupy the bottom half of the map, willing to trade the CS back and forth between them.
Oppo going to move up here with the bottom lane to make sure that Rift Herald isn't the trade for that first Cloud Drake secured by CCG. Also utilize that teleport to help out with that take as Wen. Man, that damage. That Night Harvester halfway through to a full stack Dark Seal. These Rock Moves you have to think about every one of those barrels that flies by is no jungler needed for this Rift Herald take. It's the bottom lane top combination here for Chaotic Solar, and Wen will not even be needed. Just picked up for free there. Young Jay just going to secure the Rift Herald buff as well. So Chaotic Solar is showing why they're one of those top-seeded teams in the Runeterra Conference alongside CCG with these heads-up macro cross-map plays.
We will see, though, Crow did have to use the teleport in order to secure that Herald. So we will see if Syndra can indeed get this bottom turret because she had a TP, Tristana had a TP away to get that Herald. Looks like she will be able to, so unless they can get a turret for this Herald, it will not be worth it because if they don't get a turret, obviously it's not worth it because they traded a turret for the Herald, but also they use teleport, which is another resource they have used. They will get control of this top river, but we will have to see how they indeed use this Herald.
Be very interested to see how it is utilized. Great point there, Keepsake, especially because their AD carries the one with it in hand, and I feel like that does kind of stifle the movement just a bit, as Young Jay is now going to have to move around a bit more instead of wanting to catch some of those waves to position this Herald, and you can already see that as it looks like the Ire is going to be onto this top turret. They might not even need the Herald for. Topo is still staying here because Rockboom and Dietrich are coming up. The Herald drop. They're going to engage on top of Wen. Big explosive cast sends them back under their turret, but Topo goes forward and finds that big kill. J-Bear, the next target, as they jump forward with Kitsuo, trying to lock down this Darius, and they need to make sure he doesn't get any healing off, which he doesn't. Shut down over to Kitsuo, and the fight might not be done just yet. Young Jay kiting backwards, can't find a trade, so they lose that top turret, but cash 2 kills in the back end.
Yeah, they will lose a little bit in the mid lane here. They shouldn't lose the turret, but they will miss a few waves. There might still be a chase going on top side, though. Nope, Dietrich just trying to push them off, push him back. Might have gone too far, but will seem to get his way out. I liked watching Kitsuo wait to Q. I know it does missing health, but I like to see him wait to Q to take the kill for himself. It's good to see Lee Sin's be a little greedy even when it's a shutdown. Maybe better on Kaisa, but you know what? She has items already. That's her problem. So
4 kills too. She has the most of the team.
No, so we did talk about how the Herald would have to be used. Well, the Herald was used. I thought I missed it, but Zaya doesn't have it anymore. So
yeah, she dropped it.
She dropped it. Yeah.
Right
so
before the fight
yeah, no, I was gonna say she should buy Mobies or something and just just roam for the rest of the game. But
ooh, big scatter of the week, double Magnet Storm. What a play! Radar and Dietrich with the finesse and 2 more big kills to shut out the Chaotic Solar bot lane.
You know what? I'm gonna give some real credit here to Dietrich. I'm gonna say, with no evidence, that he knew the timing on Rakanal and knew it wasn't up for another 3 seconds, and that's why he did that. And he can claim that for the rest of his life.
The flash kick! Oh my god, J-Bear had a chance to blink, and before he knew it, he was in the middle of CCG. That's 1.4 million mastery points, folks, on pure display.
We will see now the bottom turret dropping to this Tristana. This Tristana did go Demolish in her secondary rune. She did go Resolve. So we will see her advance onto the bottom turret. No one's answering her at the moment, but they're headed that way. So seeing as it's only 21 minutes in the game, Baron is probably off the table for these teams. We'll see Kitsuo, see if he can make a play here onto this Tristana.
Teleport from behind for Topo. Crow walks the right way, but another Resonating Strike waiting for that hop. Does go over the wall. Kitsuo not close enough to chase his Crow. Flashes over the mid wall. Okay. Really wanted to be safe there, Keepsake, but probably didn't need to burn that flash.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the power of the engage right now.
My God, Scout of the Week setting up so well. There's a
Another
beautiful
kick?
and my God, Young Joe has to pop the Featherstorm. Big pullback, but doesn't have the damage to commit to the kills as Rockboom finds another double. Kitsuo finding every angle needed to pick up these quality kills.
I keep trying to talk, but, you know, every time I start talking, it just goes back to your job, because CCG absolutely not letting up. They will start the Baron after getting the AD in jungle. There should not be a contest here at all. They are pinging this Cloud Drake as they will try to trade it. They probably will succeed in doing so. We will see. They are looking like they're heading down, but no, they just want it back. They'll give the Cloud Drake for the Baron. It is the third Drake, though, so giving a Rakan Cloud Soul does not feel good. I will say that. And a Darius if he can get resets. If Darius with resets, like, gets one reset and has 5 stacks on everyone, getting movement speed, you don't want that. But, obviously, still, you take this trade, you're significant amounts of gold up now, and you have gold exactly where you want it if we can look into these graphs. I mean, look, that's 3,000 gold advantage plus in the AD carry position, which is the only gold that matters, let's be honest. So, in terms of gold, it really is. But, no, we will see an advantage for the Lee Sin as well, which is pretty big, because Kitsuo has been all over the map. He's had influences everywhere. They're looking to encroach on the space here of Chaotic. Looking for an engage where they can.
Win has been gotten a lot quieter from his early game antics, it feels like, and yeah, suddenly looking for an avenue, but the avenue for CCG is through the top side. They knock down that tier 2 turret, and here comes Detro, another beautiful engage on the top of Boyo, the Magnet Storm to keep Win safe. Rockboom is diving into the red side base behind, took out 180 carry, has his sights set on the second. Rockboom just completely blows up the fight and finds 3 big kills for it. And now J-Bear trying to get something back with these Darius stacks, but can't get close enough to commit to the Nox guillotine. Big stun, big shutdown. Rockboom is godlike as he takes this game over.
That just might be it. The Gragas does not have ult here. These are Baron minions against a full 5-stack. There's nothing he can do. This is the end of the game. An amazing game out here from CCG. I mean, absolutely taking over in such a fight after fight after fight display. Not even letting Gragas survive. There will be a respawn from Rakan, but not in time to see the Nexus go down. CCG game 1.
It was beautiful. I'm curious, our beautiful production. Do you potentially have a replay of that last fight? Because I would love... All right, well, keep saying. I want you to take us through this one because it looked like all the attention was on Detro, but talk to me how Rockboom blows this fight up.
So I would actually like to point out Topo and then Rockboom. Topo actually secures this area where the rest of the team can't enter, knocks him up, does damage, so he keeps them out of the fight. Then Rockboom goes straight into the backline. They're all low health because of that damage. They keep Darius off. Rockboom can just go straight back to the turret. Young Jay seeing if he can get some stacks, but more CC, more GG. He cannot move. He cannot play. He cannot win because his team is all dead, and they will move on to end the game.
Keepsake, I appreciate that analysis because I didn't even realize, you know, it's the small things like that, right? Like Topo creating all that space is the reason Rockboom can shine. But CCG as a whole, outside a couple early game miscues on some plays and some invades, looked pretty damn well polished in this one.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, Kitsuo being so aggressive on the bot side, I was really worried we might get a repeat of EXE, where he played too aggressive on that bot side, giving that ADC kills earlier. Sooner, more, better is obviously really bad because, again, ADC gold is the only gold that matters. Change my mind, you can't. But no, his impact on the top side made, like, the win condition, which in my opinion was like this like one trick Darius, it made that like unviable for the side of Chaotic Solar. So him really keeping Darius out of this game, getting the top objective, and then in those later skirmishes, I mean, past that one dragon fight where Gragas got that really nice flank, past that, it seemed like they just won every single fight. And not that they just won it, but they were steamrolling every single fight. Detro finding these amazing opportunities, again, counting the timers on those flashes, on those ults, on everything. Just ready to capitalize on every single mistake that was made. We will see what they would like to do in Game 2. But I'd like to see the same comp style from CCG.
Well, there you go. You hear what Keepsake would like to see, and unfortunately, something you viewers will not really be a fan of seeing. Unfortunately, we got to throw up that intermission screen one more time as we take a break. But on the other side, we'll see if CCG can pull off the sweep to move themselves into top 3 of the Rentour. Oh my God, I just completely
No, you're fine.
Runeterra conference. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit.